Hey, it's Toasty Fresh, and as it's the run up to WrestleMania, it's going to be on its way very soon. I thought I'd do a little video that's kind of like a little, I don't know, discussion video, like my views on the pay-per-view just before it happens. Like, as I'm talking to you now, it's Tuesday night. I've just been trying to get onto Monday Night Raw, but sadly it's not on catch-up TV. Like me being in England, I didn't watch it last night because it's on early hours of the morning over here, and they put it on like it's halfway through the week by the time they actually put it on catch-up. But I had a little go anyway. I caught some of the main points, like with Sting and Undertaker, Bray, Wyatt. I caught those little things. I've watched little tiny videos of that, but that's about it. But anyway, I'll just set my stall out for this video as well, because I don't want to try and come off as a know-nothing, know-it-all, and, you know, a guy who's coming on here trying to be some kind of little authority on it, you know, and I don't want you people to be sort of thinking, who the hell is this guy, you know, talking about wrestling kind of thing. I'm just doing this as kind of, you know, a fan who's taken an interest again in wrestling, and I want to kind of share my thoughts on it and get other fans, you know, maybe watch this video and talk, you know, put stuff in the comments and, you know, sort of connect with some other wrestling fans who, you know, I may not have talked to, you might be on Twitter or whatever, and, you know, that kind of thing, just reaching out to that part of the community. It's something that I've kind of got back into over the last couple of years. I started watching pay-per-views again with my girlfriend. Me and her started watching the pay-per-views. And I kind of did it as, I've always kind of looked on it every now and again, because I had good memories of, you know, from my childhood of having pay-per-view videos, VHSs passed down from my brother, of, you know, that boom time in WWE, WWF. Even then it was still WWF, and that was like, I had WrestleMania 3, 5 and 6, you know, that real huge crowds and that big boom time. And then I kind of trailed off, and then I caught it back on the Attitude Era and started watching again, and that was when I was in high school and that kind of thing. And now I've just come back to it again. But, you know, I'm no great authority. I'm kind of what you probably would call a casual fan. You know, I've not watched a lot of the other stuff, and, you know, I don't know all my, you know, ins and outs of all the indie stuff. I know of, you know, the Ring of Honors and all that kind of stuff, but I've never watched a lot of it. I might have caught little snippets and stuff where people have gone, you know, you want to get onto this and you want to start watching this, you know, and I've talked to people who do really still follow it. But I don't know, I'm just trying to be a respectful casual, if you will. So, you know, if you take it in that light, you know, that's the way I'm trying to come across anyway. But going into it, I'm going to set my stall out for what I think is going to be the show stealer, and this is like my first discussion point, and maybe what you think would be the best match, or the, you know, what's been the best show of the pay-per-view, because that's not always what's the biggest draw when you go into it, but what's, when you look back at it, what was the best match of that pay-per-view. And for me, I think it's going to be the Intercontinental Title match, the kind of six-way ladder match. I think that is going to be what's going to steal the show, and that's going to be when the pay-per-view's over and people look back at it and pick over it and do the little reviews and talk amongst the friends. I think that's the one that people are going to be saying, yeah, that was the best thing about that pay-per-view. You know, that for me, that was the one, and that's what's going to be for me, and that's on the match, the action, you know, what goes down in, that's going to be, I think, what's going to be the best one. Because it's got the opportunity, if they do it right and they let the wrestlers have, you know, a bit of leeway of spontaneity, and they don't make it too stilted with pre-planning every little thing about the match. They let some of those wrestlers go out and run with it and do a bit of stuff on the fly. I think it's got a really good chance of being a match that's really good, the best pay-per-view, and maybe a match that's still talked about for, you know, weeks to come, and maybe, you never know, you know, months to come. People could look back at it and go, man, that was great. I mean, the history of WWE in the last few ones, crushing whatever momentum they get going, is getting pretty famous, but And I think they probably will fall flat after this, because some of the stuff, you know, they can't follow it, you know, with the Sting. Obviously Sting is going to be the big major draw to this WrestleMania. It is historic in that sense. But, you know, they can't follow up on that. It's like on the Raw and the next few shows and things like that. They can't follow up on that because, you know, Sting's probably going to be a one-hit thing. It's going to be a one-time thing. And Undertaker's coming back, and that's probably going to be his last hurrah. So, but that's going to be the thing. And it's just been a good thing. I've been enjoying what they've done with that. That's been one of the rays of hope in watching WWE from my standpoint of this era, of what's been going on recently. The fact that now, you know, finally, for God knows how many years, the Intercontinental title looks like it might actually have some significance about it and actually have a bit of a draw again. And that's what I really would love to see. You know, I'd love to see this match and go out and have a great spontaneous match, and then have all these guys who've been in this match fighting over it. You know, I could probably see, hopefully, the way they're going to do it and the way that I hope this match pans out and what they're going to do with the angle of this is that Daniel Bryan wins the Intercontinental title, because in a way some people said, oh, he couldn't go up, it wouldn't be believable if he went up against Brock Lesnar and won him and stuff like that. But this, I think they've got a good chance now, after failing to push him all this time and not giving him the push, and him having all these cheers still despite that, and still not wanting to put a little gasoline on that fire and, you know, try and build something with Daniel Bryan. Hopefully this, I think, will be it. And I think it could be a good thing in a way, because he'll steal the show. I think if they make it that Daniel Bryan wins, it's one, it leads a great deal of credibility then to the Intercontinental title, and it gives Daniel Bryan a push with this Intercontinental title. And, you know, and that's what the Intercontinental title, you know, from watching it when I was younger, that was what it was all about. It was about a wrestler got it who was on the verge of being, you know, the WWF champion. I mean, you look at Macho Man Randy Savage, and, you know, Steve Austin had it, you know, The Rock had it. There's been some great people who had it over the years, and then it seemed to go to pot somewhere along the line. It started becoming this European title, you know, just give it to any old mid-carder, and it didn't really mean anything. It became a worthless belt in a way, because it wasn't what it used to be. It used to be the stepping stone. It was, you know, the next best thing had it. And even if it wasn't someone that was building up, it was somebody who was too important or important enough to have the belt at that point and to hold on to it. You know, like your Honky Tonk Man and some of the other people who had it, and hold on to it until the next big thing came along, like how he got squashed by Ultimate Warrior and he held it and then he went on and won the world title. That's what I mean. It was kind of that thing. And that's what it could be again. It could be something that's fought over and adds value again. So that's why I see that as being the showstopper in two parts, because of the re-emergence of maybe that title, and the fact that they could give Daniel Bryan the push that he deserves and the fans want and everybody wants. And going on to the other matches, the Undertaker match against Bray Wyatt is a bit of an interesting one, because I've seen... so that's going to be my prediction for that one, Daniel Bryan to win it. And that's what I hope happens myself. So it'll be interesting to see whether you think he should win it, and that's your prediction, and what your predictions are for that. Going into the Wyatt Undertaker one, it's interesting because I've heard some people, you know, and they've been saying, well, it's got to be a passing of the torch from Undertaker to Bray Wyatt as the evil character, you know, as being this, you know, dark, evil character. But I don't know. To be honest, my view on this is that Bray Wyatt should actually put Undertaker over. And my reasons for that are being, and you know, some people have said, well, if Bray Wyatt puts Undertaker over, that's going to squash the momentum that he's built for himself over this time. And yeah, to an extent that is going to kind of be true, but in a way I see it as it depends on how he loses. I think if they make it a good match, and the fact that Undertaker beats him and it looks good and it doesn't look like it's an obvious put over, and that he hasn't give Undertaker a rub and, you know, his goodbye hurrah, I think it could still, Bray Wyatt would come out of it looking good. You know, if he pushes him all the way and he goes out of it and bows out, there could still be a kind of handing of the torch without, you know, having to run Undertaker down anymore. Because the way it's kind of going to go, if Bray Wyatt puts Undertaker over, I see it is still, Bray Wyatt's got time still to build something, to build himself back up again. I mean, what has Undertaker got? If he puts Bray Wyatt over, then he's got nowhere to go, and they've said this is probably going to be his last thing anyway. He's going to do this and then that's it, and that's my verdict of that, is that's how it should be. Undertaker should have this match regardless of whatever the result is, but definitely if he loses, I mean, there's nowhere for him to go if he loses. He's been squashed already. He's lost the streak in the last WrestleMania, which I watched, and you know, there's nowhere for him to go after that. I mean, what could he come back to, really? There's nothing really he can come back to. So the way I see it is if he puts him over, then that's the best result, and Bray Wyatt could still look good in a way. He could still come out of it with face, and everybody gets to see Undertaker, who is, you got to think of it as this, is Bray Wyatt isn't just putting anyone over from around him or under him to put him over him, or, you know, put someone over who's above him or just above him. He's putting over somebody who's a legend, basically. You know, he's been in the business so long and is one of the most famous gimmicks of all time, and putting him over, I don't see it as being, you know, something that's a bad thing in a way, you know. Well, I don't mean, I'm not completely bad, but, you know, it's understandable. That's what I'm trying to say. It's, people would understand it, and it'd be Undertaker getting to say his last, or he's having his last WrestleMania moment, and then him bowing out of it, and then you've still got Bray Wyatt to carry on that trend, and in his own way, obviously. But that's how I see that one, and not to take anything away from him. I think Bray Wyatt's been working hard, you know, on his promos to build up this match and things like that, and he's done a lot of work with Undertaker only just coming into it with this last week to go, and, you know, doing his little bit of the promo. I think he's worked hard to do that, but I think that's the way that match should go. So my verdict for that one is, my prediction is probably Undertaker. I think Undertaker actually is going to win that one, and that's how I feel it should happen. So that, again, I'm really interested to see what you think. And moving on to the Sting, the one that's going to be the big talking point, or the one that probably a lot of fans, it's going to be their anticipation of, the big selling point of this one. And it is an iconic moment, but along with Undertaker, that's why I said it isn't going to be the best match, because these ones, it's more about the moment, to be honest. People are more interested in just seeing it, and there's going to be, hopefully for this match, you know, I think the fans are going to be more understanding that this might not be a top draw quality match and things like that, and they'll just take it as for what it is, you know, which is somebody who's never done a pay-per-view ever before for the WWE, finally coming in, you know, another huge legend. And I'm not going to try and talk too much about Sting, because to be honest, like I said, from my limited knowledge of WCW, I never really saw much of Sting actually in it. I know of him, and I know of his gimmick, and I know, you know, who he is, and, you know, it's kind of where he came from and things like that, but I don't have a huge knowledge on him, so I'm not going to comment on that. But I do know he's a legend, and that's enough, kind of, even for somebody like me who wasn't a big watcher of WCW who still knew he was a big, massive legend. You know, that just shows, you know, the volume of the occasion, really. And that one, I can't see past Sting, you know, getting the win and getting his moment finally. And, you know, I think WWE have got to show a bit of class and put him over for this one, because even, you know, Triple H isn't in it anymore really anyway as a wrestler, so I think it's just going to be a case of him putting him over. That's the only thing I can look. That's all I can look to for that one, and it's what should happen. Is with what the fans definitely want, and because it's going to be, I think, like a one shot only. They ain't going to do a shock factor like with a streak and what have you. I just don't see them doing that, because it's going to be a hard one to see whether they bring Sting back again. I think it probably would be better as them just doing it as a fan service, one time only thing, because it'd be more special that way. If Sting ends up turning up for some more stuff, it'll diminish what actually happens at WrestleMania. That's my view of that one. And moving on to the probably what's going to be more inconsequential really when it comes to it, is the actual WWF title match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. And with recent developments with him re-signing with WWE, I'm actually going to see this one now as being something that's going to be a Brock Lesnar is going to win this match. That's the way I see it, because I think the WWE are going to be thinking of this one, and they're going to be thinking, well, we've had a backlash from pushing Roman Reigns now, and we'll have him go close but no cigar, and we'll keep Brock Lesnar's unbeatable image carrying on. And I think what it'll be is he'll get past CM Punk's title reign, he'll get the record, and that is when, after that is when Brock Lesnar will drop the title. Because I think for Roman Reigns it's too early, and that's where the backlash with it was. The fans weren't against Roman Reigns, and I don't think it's because they saw him as, you know, oh, they wanted Daniel Bryan, you know, and this isn't the guy we wanted. I think it was just more that we were happy with him as a upper mid card face, you know, we can buy that. But it was when they suddenly went, this guy's going to be challenging for the WWF title, when people went, whoa, hold on a minute, you know, you've pushed this one a bit too past where our feelings lay for the guy. And that's kind of how I said. I thought, yeah, this guy, you know, is alright up to a level, but I wouldn't have seen him at past the title and holding the title. And I think now they've got to, hopefully, I'm hoping the WWE will kind of revive. They've kind of started taking the Intercontinental title more seriously. They've kind of taken the WWF title a bit more seriously too, and build things up a bit more. But you never know with how things have been now, and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, we could have a great WrestleMania and then they have a absolutely lackluster Raw right after it, just like they've done with, I think it was Survivor Series, where they just totally squashed any momentum they had, and they've done it numerous times before. So that would probably be what would happen. And other matches are going to be pretty inconsequential, really. The tag team title, it's a bit of a muchness, really. You know, you don't really get that many good ones usually nowadays, so I don't really hold that much hope for that. And they're the main things that anybody's going to be looking for, the things that have just gone over, really. And they're going to be the main talking points. So that's what I wanted to kind of do a video on, my thoughts, and just to see really what other fans of, you know, the WWF actually think about this kind of thing, and, you know, whether I'm kind of along the majority, or whether other people think, oh no, you know, I'm not with you on that one, or you know, I think this is going to happen. So that'd be interesting to see, you know, a video where I might get a bit more of a back and forth, and I'll get a lot more interaction, because I think, you know, with wrestling, it's more of a thing that people will, the fans of it will talk amongst themselves and discuss and things like that. So that's why I thought I'd do this video, just as that kind of thing, to kind of, you know, touch base with other fans as well. And this is another one of my interests. And before this, I've done mainly just gaming stuff, video game stuff and that, but this is just showing another facet of kind of stuff I enjoy, you know. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and you're going to comment and, you know, interact with it. That'd be the best thing I could get from it, you know, some people commenting and having a good, strike up a good conversation and make a few, you know, good friendships, that kind of thing. That's kind of what I'm hoping to get out of it anyway. But hopefully you like the video, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. But that's all I got time for, so I'll see you guys another time.